I'm Gordon Mosley with your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 19th day of November in the year 2019. Here is what we're tracking tonight. An officer attached to the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit was shot to the shoulder during a late-night multi-agency operation in the Mahaica area, targeting the smuggling of goods. Kanu and the police were out in support of the operation, which was being headed by the Guyana Revenue Authority last evening. As the agents closed in on a vessel in the Mahaica Creek area, they came under fire from another vessel that was nearby. The agents returned fire as the vessel with a gunman escaped, leaving the larger vessel with the smuggled items behind them. The larger vessel was brought to the Hope area this morning along the east coast of Demerara, and onboard agents discovered hundreds of boxes of foreign chicken, as well as hundreds of cases of Corona beer. It is suspected that the items were smuggled from neighboring Suriname and are linked to a Mahaica businessman who has reportedly been at the center of smuggling operations. Kanu's deputy head Leslie Ramlal told News Source that the injured officer is recovering well. He said the Guyana Revenue Authority and the police are heading the probe into the smuggled items.
It was a joint operation based on information that GRA would have received last evening. And so the operation entailed members of GRA, Kanu, and the Guyana Police Force. Based upon that, they will venture to the Unity area, and upon observing the targeted vessel, the guys came under fire, and in retaliation, what actually happened, one of my ranks, or a member of Kanu, was subsequently hit. Based upon what we've known so far is that he suffered a gunshot wound to his right shoulder. He has since undergone surgery and he's currently recovering in a stable condition.
This is not the first time that agents have come under fire while on operations related to smuggling in the same Mahaica area. More news coming up in just a moment.
Enter the GBTI Quick Cash Christmas promotion and make it a Christmas to remember. You get up to $500,000 easy for anything you want this Christmas. Plus, enter for a chance to win fabulous items for your home. One complete 7-foot granite top base kitchen cabinet, one sectional suite, one 5-piece dinette set, and complimentary baskets of goodies. Apply at your nearest branch or online at www.gbtibank.com. GBTI, we see Christmas through your eyes.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Guyana's largest petroleum summit and exhibition is set to take place on November 20th to 22nd at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. The second edition of the Guyana International Petroleum Exhibition, GPEX, will see participation from a range of local and international companies. The exhibition is open to members of the public on the 22nd of November from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event is being organized by Valiant Business Media in partnership with the Department of Energy, Ministry of the Presidency, with support from the Ghana Office for Investment, Go Invest. GPEX 2019 in Guyana, the gateway to a golden future.
Welcome back. The 4 men, including a police officer who were arrested following a gold heist at the Matthews Ridge airstrip, appeared in court today and were charged with a multi-million-dollar robbery. All 4 accused were remanded to jail after not being required to enter a plea to the indictable charge. 37-year-old businessman Bastio Francis, 45-year-old driver Ramesh Singh, 26-year-old gold miner Leon Campbell, and police constable Kurt Ned tried to hide their faces from the cameras outside the magistrate's court today as they made their first appearance. The charge sheet stated that on the 11th of November, while being armed with guns, the four robbed Brazilian Jose de Costa of a sum of cash along with a quantity of gold worth $18 million, which were the properties of Dionarine Sukram. De Costa was reportedly providing security and transport duties for Sukram. The second charge stated that on the same day at Skull Mountain, the businessman Bastio Francis was found with a rifle, two 9mm pistols, along with various rounds of ammunition at his home. The attorney for the same businessman explained to the court that the gold that was found in the businessman's car was actually his own gold, and not the gold that had been stolen. The attorney representing policeman Kurt Ned claimed that the policeman was actually on his day off from work and was only acting as a bodyguard for the businessman when he was arrested. The attorneys requested bail, but their applications were denied, and all four suspects were remanded to jail until later this month, when the matter will continue. Over 300 workers of the Troy Resources gold mining company have been laid off as the Australian company continues to face financial problems with its operations in Guyana. The workers were informed yesterday that the decision was made by the board of the company on Sunday to lay them off. The company is hoping to rehire many of the workers when it begins operations at another interior mining location. In a memo to staff members, the Chief Executive Officer Ken Nilsson said the board had made a decision that all personnel currently stood down will be terminated as from this week. The decision was made with reluctance and will nevertheless assist employees by providing a temporary payout, the board said. The CEO continued that it is expected that Troy Resources will go back to rehiring employees as needed for a startup in the near future. Just last week, the chief executive officer of the company expressed worry that the company was operating at a loss for a long time and needed a major financial injection as it continued operations in Guyana. The company faced a temporary closure in its operations following the death of a young geologist during a mining pit cave-in at one of its mining sites. The government had issued a temporary cease work order just after that mining pit collapse, and the company was upset with that move, since it claimed it affected all of the company's operations and not just the area where the mining tragedy occurred. The cease work order was recalled within days, but the company never recalled those workers that had asked to stand down from duty. Although it has now laid off over 300 workers, more than 100 workers will remain employed, continuing the company's operations, but on a smaller scale. And the move by the Troy Resources company to lay off over 300 workers has been described by the government as precipitous. Natural Resources Minister Raphael Trotman today said he has briefed the cabinet on the situation, and the minister responsible for labor has also done the same. In a statement issued through the Department of Public Information, Minister Trotman said the company was offered all open doors to restart its operations, but decided against that, and the government was blindsided.
We believe that every door has been opened for them to resume operations in as short a time as possible. We've made that possible for them, and so we will be engaging the company about early restarting and as well, of course, bringing all of these workers back on.
Trotman said the government is disappointed with the decision of the gold mining company to lay off the over 300 workers. He said not enough notice was given to the government.
Our board ministers did engage the company's management last week, and none of us had a sense that this was going to happen. We did hear that there was going to be a board meeting, yes, and so we are disappointed, to say the least, in this outcome, and we'll be working with the company to see how quickly we can get them back into the full operations.
As we have been reporting, the board of the company made a decision to lay off the workers at its meeting on Sunday, and the workers and the public became aware of that decision on Monday when a memo was issued to staff members. The Australian company had claimed that it was facing financial problems, and the temporary closure of its operations following a mining pit accident which claimed the life of a geologist had only worsened that situation. In the world of politics, the recently formed Change Guyana Party believes that for too long, many state corporations have been piggybacking on central government for funding at the expense of taxpayers. The party is now pushing for a full reform of all state corporations so that they could all become profitable. Addressing the media at the party's weekly press conference today, presidential candidate for Change Guyana Robert Badal said the poor performance of state-managed corporations illustrate the well-known fact, in his opinion, that governments cannot manage businesses and should therefore stay out.
The result is that job creation and workers' compensation are stunted, investments curtailed, which results in a stagnant economy, unable to provide opportunities for young graduates entering the labor force.
The businessman turned politician noted that government-run businesses have led to significant losses that provide a drain on taxpayer resources, resulting in higher taxes for individuals and the private sector.
The crying question is where and when will this all end, because the deficit has to be paid from somewhere. Mismanagement, incompetence, and political interference at all levels, including board appointments, will continue to result in losses to the detriment of Guyanese. Proceeds from oil would be used to hide such mismanagement going forward.
Mr. Badal said in 2017 and 2018, the Guyana Sugar Corporation, the Guyana Power and Light Company, the Guyana Oil Company, the Guyana National Shipping Corporation, and the National Insurance Scheme recorded $28 billion in deficits. In the past 10 years, $22 billion in support was extended to GPL and $77 billion to Gaisuco. Interim results of 2019 show a deficit of around $4 billion at GPL and billions more at Gaisuco. The presidential candidate said if his party wins government, it will work to ensure that all corporations will be returned to profitability by independent professional management.
Workers displaced at Rose Hall, Enmore, and Wales would be allotted land to start their own agricultural business. Technical product development and marketing support would be provided. We would make these workers entrepreneurs instead of the breaking back work on sugar estates. Instead of reopening closed sugar estates, as promised by the PPP, which we feel is not feasible, privatization options will be pursued where it is justified for long-term sustainable development in each area.
Let's tell you now that the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, has suspended the disbursement of funds for the Sheriff Mandela Road expansion project. And according to the Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson, the decision is as a result of several infractions by the Chinese contractor Sino Hydro Corporation. In a post on his Facebook page last evening, Minister Patterson said that the halt in funding was due to numerous serious health and safety infractions, as well as traffic management failures by the contractor. He said issues persisted even though the contractor was engaged on the grievous shortcomings. Patterson said Sino Hydro was warned on several occasions to rectify the issues, but unfortunately to date, the majority of failure identified had remained outstanding. Patterson said he is not surprised by the move by the IDB, since he too has consistently stated his dissatisfaction in the contractor's performance. The project is an IDB project and the contractor was chosen by that body. According to Patterson, his ministry has commenced actions to address the defaulting issues, since some of those failures pose serious safety risk to the general public. The minister added that the contractor must take responsibility for its own disregard of its contractual obligations that have reportedly led to the dismissal of one of its employees. In a letter to that employee, the Chinese contracting company claimed that the decision was as a result of it not being paid for the past 3 months. But Minister Patterson said the company should come clean and explain its shortcomings. He said it was the IDB that carried out performance audits and made a decision to put a hold on funds for the project. The $6.4 billion project involves rehabilitation of pavements, construction of bridges, culverts, and the pedestrian overhead walkway, traffic and drainage upgrades. Sheriff Street will see a 2-lane roadway with a concrete median separating the 2 lanes, complemented by sidewalks, cycle lanes, and parking, while Mandela Avenue will become a 4-lane with a central median, with combined sidewalk and cycle lane.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
There once was a man named Stan whose business needed a new plan. Christmas was coming, this much was true. He needed some help but didn't know what to do. Then fast as a flash, 3 helpers did come from Republic Bank. They came with some. One had low interest rates, one reduced equity, one with approval so quick and easy. Now Stan is the man and his business is booming. Christmas is good and he is winning. Reach more customers and boost your business with a Republic Small Business Loan today.
Guyana, the moment you've been waiting for is here. It's the Ministry of Education's Guyana Teachers Union 59th National School Cycling, Swimming and Track and Field Championships on November 17th through 22. Come see top student athletes and teachers from 15 sporting districts compete in intense rivalry. Cycling at the National Park, Georgetown. Swimming at the National Aquatic Center, Liliendal, November 18. And on November 19 through 22, the Track and Field at the National Track and Field Center, Leonora. Action starts 9:30. The National Championships where stars are born. Powered by Malta Supreme, Hits and Jams Entertainment, and NCN.
Taking you across the region, I'm Samuel Suknandan. Protests erupted in the Caribbean island of Dominica on Monday evening, with more than 200 protesters taken to the streets and demanding that electoral reform are put in place before elections later this year. The police had to be called out and used tear gas to disperse the protesters. The protests worsened when the police set up barricades in a number of areas and the protesters attempted to push them down. The opposition party in Dominica has been pressing the government to put electoral reforms in place before the December 6 elections. The government has not been making any moves in that direction. In an address to the nation, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt said while Dominicans have a right to protest, they must do so without violence and intimidation. He said the protesters have plunged the country into instability and that could impact on the image of the island. Meanwhile, at least 4 people were shot and wounded during a small protest in Haiti's capital on Monday after a speech by the president. Several hundred people were marching through neighborhoods in the capital when shots were fired from nearby. Monday was the anniversary of a key battle of the Haitian Revolution, and early in the day, Moise rejected calls to resign. The president said he would continue to try to negotiate with his opposition. Opponent says the president should leave office over economic mismanagement and failure to investigate corruption. Leaders of the opposition, including members of Haiti's Senate, organized months of protests that have paralyzed the country, but demonstrations have been slackening in recent days, with some sections of the capital returning to near normalcy. Prosecutors in Sweden have dropped an investigation into a rape allegation made against WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange in 2010. Assange, who denies the accusation, has avoided extradition to Sweden for 7 years after seeking refuge at the Ecuadorian embassy in London in 2012. The 48-year-old Australian was evicted in April and sentenced to 50 weeks in jail for breaching his bail conditions. He is currently being held in the Belmarsh prison in London. The Swedish investigation had been shelved in 2017 but was reopened earlier this year following his eviction from the embassy. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Have a good evening.